Well, hello and welcome. If you're new to this channel and enjoy learning about history, one event at a time, not only from the US, but from around the world, then don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to start out in 1298 when German King Adolf of Nassau was deposed in favor of Albert I. On this day in 1314 began the Battle of Bannockburn, a decisive engagement in Scottish history whereby the Scots defeated the English, regained their independence, and established Robert the Bruce as Robert the First. 1817 and when popular English actor John Philip Kemble retired after his last performance, in which he played Coriolanus. 1865 is when the Cherokee chief and Confederate General Stand Watie surrendered at the close of American Civil War, one of the last Confederate commanders to do so. 3 years later, in 1865, American inventor Christopher Latham Soles and 2 others were granted a patent for a typewriter. 1925 is when an expedition under A.H. McCarthy and H.F. Lambert became the first to reach the summit of Mount Logan, the second highest mountain in North America. 1940, sprinter Wilma Randolph, who is the first American woman to win 3 track and field gold medals in a single Olympics, was born. 11 years later, in 1951, Soviet Union declared Jacob Malko proposed as a first step towards peace in Korea. The negotiation of a ceasefire and withdrawal of belligerents from the 38th parallel. 10 years later, in 1961, the Antarctic Treaty was enacted, reserving the entire continent the Antarctic Treaty was enacted, reserving the entire continent for free and non-political scientific investigation. 5 years later, Mayor John Lindsay of New York City canceled an official dinner scheduled to be given for King Faisal of Saudi Arabia after Faisal and the U.S. on an official visit stirred up controversy by a remark interpreted to means that Jews who supported Israeli war. 4 years before the turn of the century, in 1996, all attending members of the Arab League, Iraq was not invited, concluded a 2-day emergency meeting in Cairo with a warning to the new government in Israel that an attempt to stall or renege on agreements ruled by the previous government would compel the Arab world to reevaluate the Middle East peace process. Yasser Arafat, president of the Palestine National Authority, also attended the meeting and played a prominent role in the decision. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dismissed out of hand Arab demands that included, among other things, Israeli withdrawal from the occupied Arab lands and the establishment of a Palestinian state in Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. Turn of the century in 2000, an oil tanker sinks off the South African coast near Cape Town, spilling hundreds of tons of oil and causing severe damage to the Robben Island Nature Reserve, home to one of the world's biggest African penguin colonies. 6 years later, in 2006, American television producer Aaron Spelling, whose credits include a number of hugely successful shows, including The Mod Squad, Family, Charles Angels, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and Beverly Hills 90210, died in Los Angeles. 10 years later, in 2016, the United Kingdom voted in a referendum to withdraw from the European Union, with 51.9% supporting Britain's exit and 48.1% opposing the move. It marked the first time a country had decided to leave the organization. And with that, we return to 2024 and our current history. I'll see you all in the next one.